Yes, so everyone is excited. Everyone is over the moon, overjoyed with these trade deals that are all bullshit. I'm going to talk about this Japanese trade deal, just highlight something there. I'm going to talk about this new EU trade deal, highlight something there. And the context, the reality that's being lost in all this. First off, China is kicking the ass of the United States. Full stop. China is living 50 years in the future. They have cheap electric cars, and they have electric cars that charge in 5 minutes. They have automated battery changing stations if your car isn't one of those cars that charges in 5 minutes. So they'll replace your battery in 5 minutes. And the laundry list goes on and on and on about the innovations in China. If it's something truly innovative, it's coming out of China. And, as you can see here, China has ceased buying energy from the United States because of this trade war. They're like, oh, we're in a war? Okay, all's fair in love and war. We're going to buy our stuff from other people. Look, I don't want to praise China, but know this. The government of China actually thinks. They're trained to think through what they're doing before they do it. It's not what the other countries are doing. Let's start with this Japanese trade deal, this $550 billion worth of investments at the discretion of the United States. First off, 1 to 2% maybe might be investment. The rest of it's a loan. So the United States will borrow money from Japan. Does that sound like the same thing that Donald Trump is talking about? Doesn't sound like the same thing to me. And now there's this EU trade deal. So products going from the EU to the US will still get tariffed. And then things going from the US to the EU will not be tariffed. But will the Europeans buy it? I'm doubtful. But wait, there's more. Because there's this idea that the EU is going to buy $250 billion of US energy. The US likely can't even provide that much. In 2024, the total energy exports from the US, $165.8 billion. So not $250 billion. That's the total to everyone. In October, the US hit a record 13.5 million barrels of oil per day. They're currently the world's largest producer of oil. They would have to produce more oil and more natural gas and more coal. As you know, if the production of this energy increases, the market price decreases. So if the market price decreases, they're going to have to produce more just to get to the same dollar value. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's look at oil at $50 a barrel versus $100 a barrel. If you buy 100 barrels of oil at $100 a barrel, that's going to cost you $10,000. Got it? So 100 times 100, 10,000. If you buy 100 barrels of oil, same amount, but it's $50 a barrel, okay? That's $5,000. So if you were expecting to make $10,000 because you were expecting to sell 100 barrels of oil at $100, but barrels are $50 each, you're going to have to sell twice as many barrels to get the same amount of money. Got it? So if the market price for this falls, they're going to have to produce more just to get to the same amount. How are you going to get to 250 billion without these markets collapsing? Are the other oil producers just going to close up shop and not produce anymore? I don't think so. Do you think OPEC is going to stop producing oil? Especially given that they can produce it for less cost than the US? And they can offer it on the market for less cost than the US? So yeah, these deals are poised to become enormous shit shows. And it's going to be bad news one way or the other. Like when it comes to energy, either OPEC is going to crash the price of energy, which, yeah, that benefits us a little bit, but that leads to problems. Or somehow they're going to stop the production of energy, which will jack the prices up, which of course is not beneficial to us either. Meanwhile, China's going to keep doing what China does. They're going to keep trading with world partners. They're going to keep integrating themselves into world affairs. And eventually, it won't matter what the US does. Because the US just won't matter anymore.